With me for this afternoon is Joel Stransky, former Springbok fly half. Joel, it doesn't get bigger than this, does it?
It certainly doesn't, and the one thing the players will be thinking is exactly that. They want to be out there. The big games are what makes players, well, in both these teams, the likes of Bryan O'Driscoll, Victor Matfield, across the board from both teams. A game like this is what makes them play this fantastic game of rugby union. The bigger, the better, and today is a cauldron. It's a gladiator versus gladiator type scenario. Very much the unknown as to what will happen. We know how the British and Irish Lions are going to play. Which South African team will come out? They've not played for some time. They've had very little preparation. But certainly on paper, one of the greatest teams, I believe, to have graced the fields coming out of South Africa. And look at the atmosphere here, Matt. Just a sea of red. Wonderful to see so many tourists over.
Bob Skinstad is with us as well, pitchside. Bob, can you describe the atmosphere down there?
Goosebumps. Matt, it's absolutely incredible here. The noise is deafening. I've got the Springbok non-playing reserves on the bench, on the seats behind me, and Chili Boy Ralapele knocked me on the shoulder and he said, "Why are you looking so nervous, big guy?" And I think the occasion is big enough to even make me nervous on the sideline.
Bob, are they not nervous?
I think they're looking calm and collected, Joel. I was expecting a bit more nerves. There's a lot of smiles, a lot of joking. Obviously, guys are really disappointed that they're not part of this, but they've made their peace and they're here to support the others, and it's positive.
The one man sitting next to you there is Ryan Kankowski. Do you think he should have probably been on the bench, Bob?
Well, it's a tough call, you know. It always at the last minute, the coach is going to make a couple of different calls, and this is the gut call that we've said Peter de Villiers has gone for. He's done it at 10. He's put Francis Steyn to back that one at 10 up, and is it going to make the biggest difference?
Probably not. Paul O'Connell will leave the team out, and what a moment it is for him.
62 test matches for Ireland and 3 tests for the British and Irish Lions back in 2005 against New Zealand, none of which were won by the Lions, of course. You have to go back to the first test match against Australia in 2001 for the last time that the Lions secured a test victory. Phil Vickery looking so focused. He will take on the beast and Tawarira in the front row. He also has 3 Lions tests under his belt. A huge occasion for Paul O'Connell, bringing 4 nations together as one in the last of rugby's really great tours.
Oh, it's amazing. The atmosphere is just spectacular here this afternoon. I've got goosebumps just watching the players walk onto the field. Special moments, special times.
And a real privilege to be here. If you're not watching this, you're no fan of South African rugby. Stadium awash with the multicolored South African flag, and a time of reflection for the Lions as they face by far the biggest challenge of their tour so far. There has been criticism of some of the provinces not playing their Springboks against the British and Irish Lions and not giving them a harder time of it, but they have been tested in their build-up games. Specifically against Western Province, also against the Southern Kings. But this is just unbelievable. We said earlier on, the most eagerly awaited game since the 1995 Rugby World Cup final. What you're seeing on your screens now would suggest that we're not far wrong. As many red jerseys as there are in the stadium, there is passionate Springbok support. The last time the Springboks went out, of course, in an official test match was against England at Twickenham. A record victory by 42 points to 6 on that occasion. There have been question marks, which Joel Stransky asked Peter de Villiers about. Are they undercooked? We're about to find out as John Smith leads the Springboks out onto the Absa Stadium for the 56th time as captain, and in his 82nd test match, the most capped Springbok forward of all time, followed closely by Victor Matfield, who's playing his 81st test match. Ruan Pienaar will be a key figure. Just about 50 minutes of rugby in the last 2.5 months. Is that an area of weakness, perhaps?
Well, certainly not of weakness. It may be an area of lack of match practice. That might be the key. Talking about weakness, questions around the ability of John Smith at tight end against the very experienced Gethin Jenkins before the game. Jeremy Guscott was speaking about what a complete footballer he is. The captain of South Africa will have a real test this afternoon.
Heinrich Brousseau, what a moment for him. Just 20 minutes at Twickenham in November last year, now starting his first test match.
And most importantly, 80 minutes against the Lions earlier in the tour, where he was absolutely unbelievable.
Francois Steyn into the fullback jersey. He has played for South Africa at inside centre.
There's many that believe that fullback is his preferred position. I'm one of them.
Lining up for potentially his first cap for the Springboks, singing the anthem for the first time as part of the Springbok setup. Huge moment for John Smith as well. He described this during the past week as bigger than the Rugby World Cup, Joel.
Well, a Lions tour comes along to South Africa every 12 years. World Cup every 4 years. Vickery knows all about World Cups and Lions tours. And of course for John Smith and the Springboks, this is really a once-in-a-career opportunity. Some of the greatest Springboks of all times never got the opportunity to play against this great entity called the British and Irish Lions.
Bryce Lawrence takes charge from New Zealand, his 11th test match today. The last time he refereed South Africa was that epic 53-8 victory in Johannesburg against Australia in last year's Tri-Nations. Pierce Spies, what a phenomenon he's been at number 8 for the Bulls, and Victor Matfield alongside Bakkies Botha for the 46th time as the starting lock combination. One of the men they'll be up against, Paul O'Connell, the Lions captain. The noise is something to behold. Focus from Heinrich Brousseau. Ruan Pienaar waits. Jean de Villiers looking relaxed with Bryce Lawrence. And we are good to go in Durban. Bryce Lawrence checks with Paul O'Connell, and Ruan Pienaar has the responsibility of getting the series underway. And immediately away from the Lions forwards. And an early kick from Bryan O'Driscoll. Got a little nudge as he kicked it as well. And a good bounce of the ball. Great clearance from O'Driscoll.
Well, immediately it was South Africa turning to the far side. And Ruan Pienaar kicking it quite possibly into the sun and into a little bit of the glare for Bryan O'Driscoll. Took it well. Nothing really in the nudge. And what a kick it was from the man they call the Bod.
Bismarck du Plessis looking to make the hooker position his own. He's got arguably the best line out in the world to aim at. Matfield, Botha, Smith, Spies. all options. Goes to Matfield in the middle, and Preez is immediately in there to get his arms around it.
What's the wing of the knee?
Fourie, who's been in such imperious form for the Bulls during this year's Super 14. His kick is tight to the touchline and putting pressure on Ugo Monye, but there were Springboks ahead of the ball and a kickable penalty early on.
JP Peterson, it may well have been a little bit ahead. Sean Smith was on that blind side as well. The maul didn't go quite according to plan as South Africa would have hoped. It was well sacked by the British and Irish Lions. Ross Lawrence is blown for offside on the far side. First reaction from South Africa was to maul and play. I wonder if they haven't set their stall out. It was a kick to the far side, then they wanted to play from deep inside their half. And ultimately, it's going to be a shot at goal for Stephen Jones. Who is the man who's offside here? Oh, JP Peterson has just jumped the gun ever so slightly. Bit of adrenaline, bit of nerves.
No.
But too quick out the blocks. Tough kick for Stephen Jones though. No real wind to speak of, Matt. Conditions here in Durban almost perfect. It's a beautiful, warm afternoon.
Stephen Jones, such experience, 693 points he scored in the jersey of Wales in 80 test matches. Also played 3 tests for the British Lions against New Zealand in 2005. This to get the Lions underway, but it's just away to the left. And Steyn wants to return it with interest. Huge punt downfield from Francois Steyn. And a great nerve settler for him.
Wow, it's an unbelievable response from Steyn. It is the great strength he will have at fullback. Not only will he run the ball back with that big bulk of his, he's a big man, 1.91 meters, 100 kgs, but he will kick you back. And of course, inside his half, around that halfway line, you miss touch, he's going to knock 1 or 2 over from a drop goal.
First line out for the Lions. Lee Mears, the England hooker, towards the tail, snatched away by South Africa against the throw. Pienaar, flat for de Villiers. Jacobs had to take it behind him. Habana for de Villiers, and now Steyn just lost his footing at the crucial moment. Spies with the tackle made by Jenkins. Pienaar, some space in behind the Lions defence here, and JP Peterson gives chase. It's Peterson against Monye, and Jacobs is on hand. Scrum South Africa. Great following up from JP Peterson and AD Jacobs.
And a great kick from Ruan Pienaar. Looking to play, looking to pass. Nothing on, saw the space, and the kick was absolutely perfectly weighted. The chase also absolutely superb. The British and Irish Lions very flat indeed, which created that bit of space there. Good recovery from Monye, and then the ball went missing. No one could find it for a moment.
Well, Joel, I was just going to say, the rush defence has been employed by the Lions throughout this tour to great effect, but it does expose you to that little kick.
Yeah, even in the move before, that last pass from AD Jacobs, granted from a stolen line out. If that had managed to get away to Habana, he was clear.
Great first scrum from the Springboks. Pienaar with the little dart. Fourie has quick ball for Juan Smith. They want to bring it left here, the Springboks. John Smith! Try! Fabulous work from the Springbok captain. Great cohesion. His 5th test try. Boy, does that put a marker down.
Well, if anyone thought the Springboks were not going to be well enough prepared, think again. Brilliant pulled up here, set move through the phases. Both the Lions centres involved in making the tackle. The next ball out, a little bit of space for Smith. Try number 1 for South Africa, perfect start. Great leg strength, great drive. Tom Croft getting there, but all too late. Perfect start for South Africa.
And Ruan Pienaar gets a pretty straightforward first kick at goal as well, which we always thought was important. Just to find his radar. South Africa lead by 7. Bob Skinstad.
Matthew, we've spoken about being undercooked all week. I tell you, I know John Smith prefers his steak medium rare. And I think it showed there. He went over that line. He was unstoppable. Jamie Roberts looked at what was coming at him and said, please, my friend, you're welcome to put the ball down anywhere here.
A massive statement from the Springboks early on as Stephen Jones restarts. Staying underneath, took his eye off it. Straight away, the Lions will have an opportunity to apply pressure. Scrum, centre field, inside the Springbok 22.
Well, a little bit of disappointment on the face of France stand there. It was a high-hanging kickoff. Oh, straight through the basket. Uncharacteristic error. Good position for the British and Irish Lions, though. Over to the right has come Lee Byrne on his outside. He's got Tommy Bowe. Jones, O'Driscoll, Phillips off to the left.
Come up.
Down it goes in the front row. Certainly in the first two scrums, no sign of any weakness in that Springbok pack.
Yeah.
Well, in the first three set phases, no sign of any weakness. A couple of big scrums, a stolen line-out ball. It's a tight five that will be relishing the challenge here this afternoon.
Well, Gethin Jenkins and Phil Vickery pulling out of that one at the last minute, just before the engagement. Sean Edwards, pensive, the defensive coach for the Lions.
I'll be disappointed that the Lions' defence got breached as early as it did.
Vickery's popped out again, picked up by Heaslip at the back. Phillips was the dummy runner. O'Driscoll with a cutout from Monye!
Well, it's a perfect response from the Lions. Well worked down the left-hand side. The skip pass was absolutely perfect. Monye had to slow down ever so slightly. It's going to go upstairs. Monye thinks he scored. South Africa's a high-fiving of the good defensive
We need to check grounding, touch, everything, please. Try or no try.
Try or no try the call.
Okay.
So grounding, touch, everything is being asked for here, as Christophe Berdo of France must adjudicate. JP Peterson is the man trying to make the tackle.
Well, he's short at the moment. He's allowed a second movement to ground it. Does Jean de Villiers get a hand in underneath that? That is the big question. Monye certainly stayed in play. De Villiers thinks he may well have saved this. The ball's in the air at the moment. Still in the air.
Not grounded yet from that evidence.
I think Jean de Villiers has produced the miracle save. The Lions have seen it on the big screen. One or two of them meandering back towards the poles of the Springboks. Monye's gone back. Jean de Villiers, his first reaction was a high five when he stood up. Hand in underneath. That's the key. Does that ball get grounded now? No. Is it grounded in the absence of the view? Still not grounded. Is it grounded there? Well, I'm not sure. Probably not.
And
maybe.
by that time, I think he's crossed over, touching goal.
Bryce, I have a decision.
Thank you.
The ball was not touching goal. The ball was not touching goal.
Yeah.
It's a scrum 5 red.
Was it touching goal here?
Doesn't touch in goal.
Sorry?
The ball doesn't touch in goal.
Okay, but it was carried in by red.
Yeah, scrum 5 red.
Why scrum 5 red though?
Because the green player played the ball after and go in that deadline.
The green player played the ball here or in goal?
Yeah, it's a scrum 5 red.
Why though?
Attacking scrum.
What? You need
Attacking.
Yeah, you need to tell me why it's a scrum 5.
Because the green player on the floor played the ball and
in the field of play or in goal?
No, it was in goal.
Okay, it's a 22 then.
So 22-meter dropout has been awarded as we awaited the decision.
No.
Bit of a language breakdown there, I think, really a misinterpretation.
The TMO from France, Christophe Berdo, suggesting that it should be a 5-meter scrum to the British and Irish Lions.
Bryce Lawrence quite right, though, saying that the ball was carried over by Red, therefore it's a 22-metre dropout.
The restart, tap back by Matfield. Smith on the charge.
Stay.
Now Pienaar. Now Lee Byrne just slipping, but he's got plenty of time to get back. Inside his 22, he's got a huge left boot on him. That's a great take from Steyn. And now the up and under onto Monye. Pierre Spies gives chase. It came off Spies. Brousseau is following up like the terrier that he is, but knocked on by Pierre Spies.
Almost looked like a good header from Pierre Spies. Yeah, it was. Mind you, Brousseau was probably in front of him, so possibly a little fortunate. Could have been a penalty.
Pierre Spies keeping his options open for Bafana later on.
Good shit straight to Bloemfontein for the Confed Cup match.
Pause, engage.
Another big scrum from the Springboks. Juan Smith absolutely delighted, and they're all over their skipper, John Smith.
And all over the beast. It's a massive front row effort here. Good pressure in from behind, and the Lions came. Vickery whipping his head out and up in the air. And Bob Skinstad, how important is it in that front row in the tight five to get that early ascendancy?
Joel, we talk about it every week, you know, it's a mini battle within a test match, and I can tell you that those guys were talking this morning in hushed tones around the hotel, talking to each other, motivating and keeping each other aware of the fact that they need to lead from the front. And jeepers, Bismarck du Plessis was patting Beast on the back there and saying, well done, my man. They're obviously fulfilling some form of internal goal, and it makes a huge difference when the guys show leadership like that.
And of course, when you get to this level, every player is a leader. Great to see. British and Irish Lions fans weren't like that. Came with a big pack of forwards, hoping to dominate, hoping to play physical rugby.
Pienaar, 15 metres in from the right-hand touchline. A relatively quiet stadium for him as he approaches. He turned and picked up the tee straight away. Always a suggestion that the strike is pure. No sign of rustiness yet from the Springbok fly half.
Well, it was a good hit from the Beast, and of course so much of it is in the hit. Pressure in from behind. We hit it inwards. The Beast continued the pressure, nowhere else to go. Eventually he popped out the top.
Hanging restart from Jones. Steyn this time is well positioned. Good tackle from Heaslip.
Down, Scrum.
Frans Steyn will be happy to have made the clean take this time. Of course, not allowed to call the mark, but a good chasing tackle from Heaslip. South Africa ball though, chance to clear.
Good work by you. Good work. Give him your shoulder, hit straight.
28 test matches for Francois Steyn. And a World Cup winners medal as well.
Touch. Pause, engage.
Still such a young man, just 21 years old.
Go behind.
Pienaar with time to clear. There was some pressure from Croft off the side of the scrum. But it's a wonderful clearance from Ruan Pienaar.
Well, there was so much talk before this test match about South Africa being a little underprepared, having not played. A lot of these players having had very little match time. The Beast certainly not showing any signs of being underprepared here, nor the whole front row. Vickery topping out the top and being penalised. But this start from South Africa, bearing in mind some of these players haven't played for almost 10 weeks, has been absolutely phenomenal.
Mears for Croft in the line out, the England duo. And Mike Phillips, who's had precious little opportunity so far in his first Lions test, took it up on Mears again.
No, fine. Scrum.
Bakkies Botha was who wrapped up Lee Mears, not the tallest man in the world, only 1.73 metres. Powerfully built though, just under 100 kgs, but Bakkies was all over him like a rash. And Bob, you don't want Bakkies all over you, do you?
Stay down and scrum.
Certainly not, Joel. In fact, the chat fell away a little bit in the week about the big contest between Bakkies and Victor and Alan Wynne-Jones and Paul O'Connell, but it's certainly firing here today. They've traded line-out and ruck and maul duties.
Just going back to Ruan Pienaar, Joel, the 50 minutes of rugby that he's had in the last 2.5 months was against the Bulls here in Durban. He looked a little out of sorts, but just showing that he's up for the big occasion.
And he limped off with an ankle injury after that game, or 60 minutes into that game. So
you don't move back. Get up.
he has been a little short on game time, and well, he certainly has bounced back. Doesn't look like he's missed a minute.
Come forward.
The scrum is a
touch. Pause.
massive battle at the moment. The Lions trying to establish some sort of control.
Better one from the Lions this time. Phillips goes to the left, and Lee Byrne steps beautifully past Fourie. Phillips again working the short side, this time for Alan Wynne-Jones. With support from his captain, Paul O'Connell. Mears. Vickery in behind him to make the clean out. Phillips for Jones. David Wallace gets his first real opportunity to carry the ball up. Now Jones. Byrne looks to straighten, offload for Bow, and Monye all the way over from the left wing. Phillips. Flat ball for O'Connell, big tackle from Mtawarira. But good continuity here for the Lions, and Wallace is through. Crucial tackle made by Francois Steyn, but the Lions still in the ascendancy here. Phillips had the ball knocked out of his hand, but Juan Smith starts the counter-attack. Habana. Look for an offload through the tackle.
Hugo Monye it was. He was very quick to get over and contest the ball in the ground. I'm not sure he was carrying his whole body weight. It looked like he may well have been almost lying on it, but got his hands on it. He's won the penalty. What a little break from Wallace. The pass, the timing of the pass from Lee Mears, absolutely superb. Banner's not happy with that decision. This is the break first. Mears got it in his hands there, the little show and go, and then the pop pass. No support either side, and David Wallace was certainly looking around. This was a Banner's little dart. Good tackle coming across with Jenkins. Monye was quick over there, but he is certainly not bearing his body weight.
And that's why Bryan Habana wasn't happy. Great tackle from Jenkins, though. That's what he gives the Lions instead of an Andrew Sheridan, who a lot of South African pundits felt would be the loose head. Jones for the 3 points, and it's away to the left. Just have to take your kicks at this level. Steyn doesn't want to dot it down dead. He wants to drive the Lions back.
Coming a little off the side of the boot from Franz Steyn. Good touch finder nonetheless. Stephen Jones will be disappointed, as will that man there, Sean Edwards, defensive coach of the British and Irish Lions.
Mears, 34 test matches for England, his first in a Lions jersey today. Over the top and tapped back by Pierce Spies, the second one. One against the throw by the Springboks, and Pienaar looks to clear and bounces it perfectly. It's all going the way of the Springboks at the moment.
It is. It's not just by accident, though. It's by design. Franz Steyn has cleared it from behind the goal line. He's kicked it out, and now Pienaar has done exactly the same. Aiming for the touchline for this reason. South Africa can steal any line-out. Such a strength in the line-out. It's not just Matfield, Botha, Smith and Spies at the back as well. They're a very difficult team to put the line-out ball in against.
So the pressure will build on O'Connell and Mears. This time the combination works well. Steyn with a little juggle just outside his 22. He positioned himself well, though, so as not to knock the ball on. Byrne loves to run from the back, past Peterson, but not past Juan Smith. Phillips for Tommy Bow, looking for work over from the right wing. What a great tour he's had. 4 tries in the 6 build-up games. He played in 3 of them. Jones under pressure from Spies. Crowd were asking for a drop goal, perhaps, from Francois Steyn. 65 metres odd. Byrne outside his 22-metre area, trying to pin Francois Steyn against the touchline. Now Peterson gives this up and under. Good chase, as does Juan Smith, who got up. Vickery did some good work. Brousseau was burrowing.
I think the call is against Juan Smith. Offside, I think, is the call from
Never
Bryce
put
Lawrence.
onside, straight into the ball. Never
Front of the
onside.
kicker. Tactical couple of minutes we're experiencing now. A lot of kicking, a lot of
Call.
cut
Kills
and
your
thrust, a
scrum
lot
where
of
it's
pushing
kept.
the opposition back into their territory. Juan Smith, judged to have been in front of the kicker, not having retreated.
Scrum.
Well, the Lions have certainly earned the respect of all the teams they've played against when they've carried the ball. We've seen them carry the ball through 10 and 12 phases on a couple of occasions already. Ball in hand, they get a little bit of go forward. They're very difficult to defend against. They've gone for the scrum, hoping to get the ball going, get some movement, get a bit of momentum and get on the scoreboard.
Vinny, come back, come back.
Huge test of
Crouch,
Paul O'Connell's captaincy as well.
touch, pause, engage.
Good scrum again from the Springboks, and Brousseau has poached it away. Dupree went to the open side and then stole some space on the blind. It's a good tackle. And Dupree stayed down on that shoulder.
And he's had a number of problems on that shoulder. He'll be delighted with the performance so far of the forwards. The Lions went for the scrum, not wanting to kick it out and lose the line out. And Bob, they've come unstuck in the scrum too.
They certainly have, Joel. I mean, Beeston Torreira, they're just doing his job, keeping their head down and scrumming straight, and Vickery's really struggling to get ahead of him here. I'm just hoping for Foure's sake that he hasn't gone onto that bad shoulder again. I don't know if there were arms in that tackle. Certainly the touch judge put his flag out after that to chat to the ref, so maybe we'll find a slightly bigger decision here than we thought.
Certainly no arms in the tackle, Bob. I hope you're right. I hope Fourie is okay. He's such a pivotal player in this team. It's Tom Croft who gets across there.
You be the doctor.
Big shoulder charge.
Your job.
No arms. I'm sure it'll be a penalty.
Number 6.
South African fans, you can breathe again.
Where's the mark?
Been in such great form for the Bulls,
6.
and a key part of the Springboks' plans for this season.
It's close to the touchline, but there's no arms in the tackle made by 6, okay? It's going to be a penalty. Thank you. Just here.
The call is made by Vinnie Munro that it will be a penalty to South Africa for that shoulder charge, no use of the arms. Just going back to the point, Bob, about Paul O'Connell and the test of his leadership now, going 10 points down early in such an eagerly awaited match and having to bring them together. Tough call.
It certainly is, Matt, you know, and leaders aren't made overnight. They're forged through different trials and tribulations that they go through. Paul O'Connell's done that for Ireland, but is he a big enough character to do it here today for the Lions?
Well, he'll draw on the experience of the leaders around him as well, including Bryan O'Driscoll, who's had virtually no opportunity in the game. Francois Steyn is the man called up to take this penalty. 65 points in test matches so far.
Distance shouldn't be an issue.
Certainly not. One of the penalties he's kicked was in the Rugby World Cup final from a similar distance. It's certainly got the distance. It's got the direction as well. And while the Lions have missed 2 kicks at goal, South Africa have 3 out of 3, 2 penalties and a conversion, and lead by 13. The smiles are out.
There's not too many red jumpers jumping up and down in the stand at the moment. Lions fans as shell-shocked as their team.
Look at the focus, though, on the faces of this South African side. They have been so up for this, regardless of their supposed underpreparedness. Many of these players have waited for this very opportunity to come around. Croft was quickly up to put pressure on Steyn at the restart. South African fullback held firm. Pienaar.
Stay green! No!
Can't kick it out this time. Carried back it was.
Now Lee Byrne
10 metres red!
puts it up for Monye to chase. Spies just overran it a fraction. Comes back for Alan Wynne-Jones. Valuable possession for the Lions here. Wallace on the short side, picked up in the tackle by Bismarck du Plessis and driven towards touch.
Almost manhandled by Bakkies and Bismarck.
guys.
So the Springbok line-out hasn't had much opportunity on their own throw, but they've poached a number of Lions balls already. Bakkies Botha now loses one. A rare occurrence indeed. Turned over by O'Connell. Now Jones for Wallace in midfield. It's all a little static. No real momentum there, but they've got an extra man over here on the right. Roberts gets a first opportunity. O'Driscoll! Bryan O'Driscoll! Beautiful stepping in the offload for Croft. The try is awarded. The first opportunity they got to unleash what has become on this tour a deadly midfield combination. They have delivered with aplomb.
Jamie Roberts, the man who's created this. Tom Croft may well have rounded it off, but with the centre combination of Roberts and O'Driscoll working in tandem superbly. The little show and go, realised he could get arms through, released O'Driscoll early enough. Franz Dane did very well indeed to back off, but just the support play of Croft just too good on this occasion. It's a great response, brilliant little half break from Jamie Roberts, combining well with the man they call Bot. Try scored, and it's a great response from the Lions.
And a vital response as well, as Stephen Jones adds the 2 points.
Doesn't waste any time in taking his kicks, does he?
It was just so necessary for the morale of the team, that score, having conceded the penalty to Francois Steyn. The burst from Roberts, he is such a big, strong man, who made his debut against South Africa for Wales last year.
What Croft did so well is that he realised he was overrunning Bryan O'Driscoll a little. He stopped, made sure he was behind O'Driscoll, collected the ball and got over for the try.
Restart, gathered in by Jamie Heaslip. That will be a massive boost of confidence to this Lions outfit.
Back one. Yeah, got it.
Booming left boot from Lee Byrne. Francois Steyn. Is this the first drop goal attempt? It is, but it never got more than 6 inches above the turf.
Except on the third bounce.
No red, no 12.
Burns kick allowed to bounce, and Peterson has an opportunity. He has Fourie with him. And Monya back all on his own, and a safe call, calling for the mark. And now the little error from Ruan Pienaar, the first thing he's done wrong. The Lions fans love it. Pressure back on South Africa.
Well, it is. The Lions have come up with a try, a great try it was. Concern on the faces of the camp all of a sudden. Pienaar just somehow letting that one slip through his hands. And the Irish fans finally something to shout about. Their team have a try and they've got another attacking position.
Hold the ball properly.
It'll be Beast and Tawarira. Now try and get that left shoulder up against full victory. Stop the ball from putting a little shoulder on the open side.
Come on.
Well, what a warning shot that was, Bob, that try. The first time that the Lions backs got a chance. The first time they had anything like decent possession.
It certainly was, Matt, and we've said it, the Roberts-O'Driscoll combination is going to be dangerous, and I just felt that the Springboks hung off the tackle a little bit, and A.D. Jacobs and Bryan Habana were both looking for the long pass from Jones, put themselves into a bit of a position where they had to commit to a low tackle and couldn't go ball and all, and Roberts could just offload to O'Driscoll, and we know what happens after that.
Much better scrum from the Lions now as well. They are gaining composure here. Jones, O'Driscoll. There's a little show for Lee Byrne. Tommy Bowe thinks he's over.
There's no doubt it's crossing. Ross Lawrence has got it 100%.
Running around the back.
Bryan O'Driscoll knew the spaces on the outside, knew he couldn't get the ball there without that little run in behind the fullback.
Well, you be the judge. Was that crossing?
Well, I don't think so.
The penalty from Pienaar hasn't found touch. 2 unforced errors from the Springbok fly half in the last couple of minutes. Fourie safe under the high ball. This is an awkward one for the Lions. It's claimed by Francois Steyn. Nobody wanted it in a red jersey. Matfield and Botha had to do some good rescue work there. Jacobs. McConnell wrapped the ball up in the tackle, but he didn't let go.
Never release the ball. All over him. Stand up first, then pick it up. Straight off your feet.
Looking a little bemused, the Lions captain, but he did wrap the ball in the tackle as they went to ground. He's got to get back on his feet before he plays it again.
I'm not sure he was ever on the ground, though. Ugo Monya got away with that a little bit earlier. Elbows on the ground, which means he's not holding up his own body weight. It's a long shot. Steyn nailed the last one.
Well, in the warm-up before this game, he was knocking them over from almost 60 metres. Taking it well inside his own half and on a couple of angles as well. A great view from up top on the stadium roof. Steyn pulled it way away to the left. Certainly had enough distance on it. He gets a small round of applause. Almost half an hour gone in the first half of this first of 3 test matches. Spies for Jacobs. Wrapped up in the tackle by Roberts, but good cleaning out from the Springboks. Pienaar for de Villiers. Took it just a fraction behind him and tried to drag the ball through the contact situation. He's very frustrated with himself.
Well, South Africa got off to a fly in the first 7 to 11 minutes. Shown 1 or 2 little rusty signs since. Timing not 100%. John de Villiers a little flat, the ball going in behind. Tried to hook it in. If he had hooked it in, he may well have been gone.
Crouch. Touch. Pause. Engage.
Scrum continues
Relax.
to deliver 1 or 2 problems. Who's under the pressure there, Bob?
Joel, it's a tough one to call. I think Phil Vickery is now understanding he's got to get that hit. But it certainly looks like John Smith's taking on his man and actually knocking him backwards at the tight head side.
Well, of course, John Smith propped against Gethin Jenkins in Cardiff last November in his first match for almost 8 years at tight head, and he performed admirably on that occasion, going almost the full 80 minutes. Phillips hasn't got nearly as much distance on that kick as he wanted, but Bo was quickly up, but Bakkies Botha doing the cover work. Steyn, good hands for Jacobs, and now de Villiers puts the rolling kick through, beautifully read by Lee Byrne. Steyn spots something on Pienaar. Bo waits underneath. Tackle from Smith and Pienaar.
Leave it green. 13.
Phillips back for Jones. He was forced by the pressure from Pierre Spies to kick to the open side. Now Steyn inside for de Villiers with a bit of space. Matfield for Fourie. Thought he might have spotted a half gap there. It wasn't closed very quickly.
Lost by 9.
And lost forward in the contact.
Lost forward by 9 in the tackle. Into a red player.
Fourie just not controlling it. Pierre Spies has been a little bit quiet there. He could well have been calling for the ball off Fourie, and I can't help thinking that he should have been maybe the man carrying it up. As a big man, a lot of pace, rather than Fourie. Oh, that Irish. Second row, Connell combining with Alan Wynne-Jones. Second row for Wales. Oh, another penalty for South Africa. The crowd are loving it here in Durban. He has become a complete cult hero.
Well, the man who captained England against South Africa in the Rugby World Cup final in 2007 is being given a torrid afternoon.
expert on the scrums, but I'm sometimes difficult to say why that went down. Didn't look like it was anyone in particular's fault. Decision's gone against Vickery. South Africa will be grateful.
Ruan Pienaar successful with a conversion and a penalty so far. Francois Steyn given the responsibility of 2 longer penalty attempts, one of which he goaled. But this very much within Pienaar's range. .62 test match points before this game, 5 added so far. This to take his tally to 70. Percy Montgomery at the bottom right-hand corner of your screen there, the kicking coach. And straight away he goes for the tee. South Africa ahead by 9.
Always been 1 or 2 doubts about Pienaar's kicking. He's certainly putting those to bed today.
Kicked beautifully on the end of year tour though, Joel, at Cardiff and also in London in that record win.
And of course for the Sharks, it's Rory Cockett who's been doing the kicking.
Fourie du Preez underneath the restart had to go very low to take it, and away goes the beast on the first of his rampaging runs that brings the cheer from the crowd. Beautiful take from Peterson, I think it was, chasing the kick from Fourie du Preez. Pienaar will look for territory. Byrne has read the play well in the last line of defence for the Lions so far. Peterson again, and Byrne has not played them onside yet, and Peterson goes for a burst up the middle. Good tackle from O'Connell. Matfield, Jacobs, and the rush defence is up again. Tommy Bowe couldn't grab it. Habana will give chase and will make the tackle. Jacobs in over the ball as well. And Tommy Bowe, under the pressure, holds on and concedes a penalty.
No, I got it. Well, fair, clear and obvious.
Penalty can't be against us.
Excuse me. He's clearly going in. He's struggling to hold it up. There's been 2 penalties.
Tommy Bowe penalised.
Stop, please.
They say a kicking game is only as good as the chase. The chase from South Africa on every single kick has been superb. Look at this. Nowhere to go, really. Well wrapped up. Numbers galore there, like a green blanket. Driscoll in from the side trying to save it, and Bismarck du Plessis, I'm not sure what he was thinking, yeah. The end result, Pienaar has another chance to extend that kicking record and extend South Africa's lead.
Paul O'Connell getting very frustrated with the last couple of decisions from Bryce Lawrence. But the New Zealand referee has been very clear in his direction. To extend the lead to 12 points with just under 5 minutes to play in the first half. Pienaar's got a lovely curve on that. Flags up again. 4 out of 4 from the boot of Ruan Pienaar. Bench is smiling again. They went through a pretty tense period.
That they did. But South Africa bounced back well, Bob, and I'm sure looking at the breakdown, Paul O'Connell and Ian McGeechan are going to have a little word at the half-time break. Work out what to do at the breakdown.
Definitely, Joel, and they might give Bryan O'Driscoll a change of underpants too.
De Villiers is away from the restart. The flick inside. It was intended for Habana, but Bakkies Botha was there to grab it.
Stay out of it, red!
Du Preez for Pienaar. We will test Lee Byrne once again. Almost got away from him, but Byrne launching the counter-attack. Jones now for Wallace. Beautiful hands from O'Driscoll, but now Steyn has plenty of time to drive the Lions back into their own half.
And once again, quite happy to kick it out. Let the likes of Matfield, Botha and Spes contest the line out.
keep this guy on you.
Paul O'Connell has to lift his men. Certainly leads by example in everything that he does. Good tackle from Brousseau as Jamie Roberts tried to burst through. Oh, Driscoll took his eye off it, and Beast and Tawarira drives him back. Springboks over the ball, turnover. Pienaar will look to swing it. Jacobs for Peterson. Takes on Heaslip, the chip and chase. Peterson just kept it in, but knocked it on.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, Stephen. Sorry.
A little apology.
A big apology.
On the ground. Sorry.
JP Peterson, good presence of mind, and you don't often see that. Bryan O'Driscoll almost never makes mistakes. South Africa very quick to turn the ball over, and of course turnover ball, great ball to attack with.
I should have played advantage.
Bryce Lawrence still apologising. Stephen Jones had got across there, covered well.
Replacement on. Rob Kearney for the British and Irish Lions. Here are the scrums that the Springboks have put in.
Well, it's been a massive battleground in there. Gladiator upon gladiator. Vickery coming off second. John Smith doing phenomenal work on the far side, as is Tendai Tawarira with Bismarck in the middle. South Africa will be very happy with their scrum power.
So Lee Byrne is the man off and sitting on the bench. The Welsh fullback, and Rob Kearney is on. Now Paul O'Connell again wants a conference with Bryce Lawrence after yet another scrum penalty.
Listen, he can't hold his bind. He's falling into the tunnel. That's 3. You're leaving me very little option soon. 2 metres.
I'm not sure what the British Lions can do now.
Half-time.
Paul Vickery's under enormous pressure. Whatever he's doing, he's getting it wrong.
Shot, please.
There's a time to take drastic action, bring Adam Jones on. Lee Byrne is unfortunately done himself a bit of damage. We'll try and find out what that injury is. Slipping the bind. Just the pressure really forcing Vickery inwards.
Four out of 4 for Ruan Pienaar, 1 out of 2 for Francois Steyn. Some fairly dramatic irony, given that in 1997, in this test match against the British Lions in Durban, South Africa scored 3 tries without reply, didn't get a single thing from the kicking team.
It's 0 from 7 or 8, if I remember correctly.
And now they're 5 from 6 with a kick to come, just seconds before half-time. Pienaar, and just away to the right. So one opportunity goes a-begging. That man's had a huge match up against Phil Vickery. 2 penalties so far, conceded points at scrum time, but there have been other indiscretions as well. Matfield gathers the 22-meter dropout. Just a lull in the noise in the stadium for a second, and it looked as though it was in slow motion for a while. And Tawarira looks perhaps for a pick and drive. JP Peterson is having nothing of that. Into touch he goes. Dick Muir and Gary Gold quickly into the tunnel there, the 2 assistant Springbok coaches. And a very satisfactory first half for the Springboks.
I think if they could have scripted it any better, they would probably have been a miss. They've certainly got it 100% as expected here in the first half.
A try from John Smith, 3 penalties from Ruan Pienaar, and a conversion. A penalty from Francois Steyn. South Africa lead at half-time, 19-7. Half-time at the Absa Stadium in Durban. South Africa lead 19-7. Joel Stransky, what do you make of that?
Well, handling errors a little hard for a test match, maybe a little bit rusty on both sides there. Nothing on this page really The critical factor for both teams has been the set play. South Africa have dominated the scrums and the lineouts, and as a result, kicked the goals, and they're ahead by some distance.
Bob Skinstad is down on the pitch side with one of the non-playing Springbok squad members, Chili Boy Ralapella.
Chili, you're a front row man, and everybody was talking about the pressure that's on the front row. You've just been telling me now that the guys had an opportunity, though, to scrum against each other, and you think that made the difference?
Yeah, Bob, I think that made a hell of a difference last week, having to scrum down against the emerging Boks. I think from there, we had obviously, it took us a while to get back to what we're doing at the moment, but what I'm saying is that the guys been working together. You can see it's a great team effort out there, and just the guys are just willing. It's a willingness to work for one another. I think that's the main part that plays in the scrums at the moment in this game.
Well, it's certainly making a big difference, and a good start for the Boks all around the field.
Yeah, I mean, we just needed this platform just to get a good lead and hopefully just build up on it.
Good, man. Thanks very much, and we're all behind you.
Well, he spoke about a commanding lead. It's 12 points. Joel Stransky, if the Springboks were to score first in the second half, would a lead of more than 15 or more than 14 points be too much of a comeback trail for the Lions?
Wow, always tough to say. 12 points in a test match is a leap. It's a lot of points, but then again, it is only 2 scores. As we have a look at the fans, and the travelling fans are really what make this Lions tour so special. Goes to the local fans, mind you. But, well, Matt, I would fancy if the Springboks score 15 points is surmountable. If it's a try and it becomes 17 or 19, I would fancy that might be game over here in the first test. And having said that as well, I'll add to that, if South Africa win well today, they'll win well next week and the week thereafter.
So plenty for Ian McGeechan's men to do in the second half of this first test match. They always knew they were going to have to target this Durban test. Firstly, because it was at sea level. Secondly, because the Springboks were going to have less opportunities to prepare. Reasonably solid first half from Francois Steyn at fullback, just that one mistake under the high ball. John Smith has been an inspiration as ever. So Stephen Jones gets the second half underway in Durban. Jean de Villiers is underneath it, but Roberts gets up first. To the short side goes Phillips for O'Connell. Bow inside for Jenkins.
Stay there, I'm right.
Available for Phillips now. O'Connell hit hard in the tackle by Mtawarira and John Smith combining well. Jones, Wallace. And Fourie du Preez quickly on his feet trying to make the steal. And a Lions player, I think it was Vickery, in from the side.
That penalty count against the Lions just continues to mount. It's been their downfall so far. Breakdown has been, well, not just the breakdown, the scrum, but the breakdown too. Where the Lions have shown to be a little vulnerable. That man's been involved in both those areas, just giving away a penalty at the breakdown and been under big pressure at the scrum. Straight in from the side, diving through like a missile. Bryce Lawrence 100% correct.
Bismarck du Plessis to the front where Bakkies Botha waits. Heinrich Brousseau quickly in possession.
Well, Bismarck du Plessis looked a little, I won't say over-aggressive earlier, but here he's given away the penalty. Shocking victory out. He's done pretty good work in the maul.
John Smith just has a quiet word in his ear. They don't want to have ill discipline cost them points or territory.
Vickery had got through well, contesting the maul well. And look at this. Oh, what are you thinking? Play the game.
Brousseau was just forming that maul. Bismarck du Plessis does love to get involved in the off-the-ball stuff. No need. Good tap from Matfield. Pinar will look to turn Rob Kearney, and he has done. Beautiful skills, though, from Kearney, the Irish fullback. And a good clearance as well. Steyn won't take it quickly because Jones was ranging up. Kearney, of course, who replaced Lee Byrne, the Welsh fullback.
It's a great bit of rugby, this. It's Springboks up again. Matfield steals it in the line out this time. The kick from Pienaar was a good one. The recovery from Kearney, superb.
Good work, guys.
Some very worried Lions fans in the background there.
They've already joined.
Spies and Brousseau being asked to rejoin the line out. They had already formed the line. Du Plessis for Spies this time. And quickly funneled back for Bismarck Du Plessis. The first real opportunity we've seen for South Africa to get the maul rolling. Pienaar's gone over to the short side. Brousseau still in possession at the tail. They've coordinated this beautifully. They've made almost 30 meters now with this drive. Great to see them all back in the game.
Keep going.
Still the advantage being played to South Africa.
And that's a great skill to have in your armory, to be able to maul like this and drive teams forward. And of course it sucks in so many defenders.
Another penalty coming in from the side as the Lions desperately tried to bring that maul to a stop.
Twice from the side, yourself. Number 5, twice from the side.
Well, you saw him coming in from the side in that replay. Bryce Lawrence had him twice there.
O'Connell looking a little frustrated, Bob.
Yeah, he is, Joel. He's actually coming dangerously close to being a little bit insolent to Bryce Lawrence. You can't always agree with all the decisions that a referee makes, but it's the way you take those decisions. And you saw Bismarck walk away and say, yes, sir, no, sir, 3 bags full, sir, I apologize. Dropping your shoulders and shaking your head's not going to help you in the battle for getting the refs on your side.
And Bob, as you're saying it, Bryce Lawrence has walked over to Paul O'Connell and had a word. Told him to settle down a little bit, and first substitution, aside from that of the injury to Lee Burns, it's the hairband.
Adam Jones gets to add a British and Irish Lions cap to his 56 caps for Wales. Springbok line out working superbly once again. Matfield taking, and Brousseau getting involved. Croft in there. Another penalty, this time I think
in the legs. You were, next time you're going to the bin. 10 metres.
Oh, Paul O'Connell, the captain, being told that the next time...
Next time you go to the bin.
Next time he goes to the bin. And that's not what you want from your skipper. And Pienaar aims to press home the advantage. Told to kick for the corner by his skipper.
It's a great decision from John Smith. He's had a look at this. He said, we've set up the maul twice. We've mauled them 40 metres. Then we've got the penalty. Worried looks on the face there, particularly Graham Roundtree on the right. The scrummaging coach will be very concerned about some of the forward play.
Matfield leaps high once again. Here comes the maul. Brousseau. It's working like clockwork. Adam Jones trying to drag it towards touch. Heinrich Brousseau still in possession. The Springboks moved it to the left, now back to the right. This is a powerful forward surge. And Heinrich Brousseau has got it down for South Africa's second try. What a moment for Heinrich Brousseau, starting his first test match for South Africa. A fantastic Super 14 in a losing cause for the Cheetahs. A late call-up to the squad for this test match, and straight into the starting lineup with the injury to Skalkberger. And now this.
And the British and Irish Lions maestros at this a few years ago. Neil Back controlled it at the back of the maul. This time it is Heinrich Brousseau, small in stature, big in presence, big in strength, and big in grounding the ball on this occasion.
If I'm on one side and you're looking on the other for the legs.
A coordinated forward effort has brought that 5-pointer for South Africa as Ruan Pienaar lines up the conversion attempt. Converted John Smith's try.
Come on, 10.
It's a long way back for the Lions from here.
Come on, 10.
Pienaar has got it straight through the middle.
That's a great kick. Bryce Lawrence was shouting at him to hurry up. He was shouting, come on, 10, get on with it. Pienaar kept his head down. He's nailed the kick. And Matt, you asked the question a couple of minutes ago. I think that's game over. I don't think the Lions can come back from this. It's a big forward effort. They've put in 2 massive maul efforts in the last couple of minutes. Everyone involved. And most importantly, John Smith making a great decision to kick for the corner and go for the try.
Restart gathered by the Springboks safely.
Yep.
Pienaar on to Kearney. Puts it up for Monye to chase. Steyn made the call, knocked it on. This is Phillips. Keeps it in play cleverly. Pressure on Fourie du Preez. The tackle from Kearney.
No advantage.
And there's no advantage for that knock-on from Francois Steyn, but Bobskinstad, what a forward effort for that try. It's a Lions team that was picked to take on South Africa up front, and they've got pummeled.
It certainly was, Matt, and you know, we see Mark Phillips running up there and cleverly keeping in. There was no advantage, but the advantage lies with the Springboks in that pack. We see Bismarck there. That's the IRB Brains Trust sitting next to Regan Hoskins, and Regan Hoskins will be a proud man of his charges out there today who are representing South Africa. The forwards were outstanding in their commitment and outstanding in their planning and execution of that try.
Pause, engage. Stay down,
Better scrum this time from the Lions. Phillips. Oh, Driscoll, straight through the middle. Offload to Roberts. Was there an early tackle there? Alan Wynne-Jones gets from Phillips, but driven back by Spies. Bryce Lawrence has the advantage showing to the Lions. They need points, and they need them quickly. Phillips. Cross for Heaslip. Bryan Habana, who's hardly seen any of the action this afternoon, finally being called upon to make a tackle. Better continuity here from the Lions. Wallace. Another tackle from Brousseau. Phillips with the dart. He's dangerous close to the line. Bryce Lawrence will have a look upstairs, and Juan Smith thinks there's a knock-on.
Get back, get back.
Well, the telling sign is that the Lions players have not budged. They're standing around there waiting for the scrum. That's certainly what it looks like. Paul O'Connell's coming for another chat.
Timo, please. Right. Are you there, Christoph?
Putting himself and his team under pressure.
Can you check for me,
Phillips
try or
lost
forward,
not,
please? And the
Lions
empty
don't think
scoring.
so for to South Africa.
Jacobs
It's
and
entitled
Spies.
a stretch. Wow, looks like he lost it. It's 1 or 2 fingers. Pressure enough, Matt.
Jacobs and Spies with the initial tackle, and Bakkies Botha got a hand there, but then what happens afterwards? Did Bakkies Botha actually knock the ball out of the hands?
Now remember, it's not downward pressure required. It's just a grounding of the ball. Is this grounded? A couple of fingers, is that enough? Big, strong and powerful is Phillips. The stretch. Does he ground it here? Bakkies gets his hand in. Oh, sure, that's a tough call.
Decision.
Okay.
So forward.
Lost
On
forward.
balance, it
Yes.
looks as though it's
Scrum
been lost
five, green
forward.
ball.
But will they come
Yes.
back for a penalty?
Well, I think advantage was played.
Come on. Red 2 sub, thanks.
Substitution made again by the Lions. Matthew Rees of Wales and Llanelli on for Lee Mears at hooker. And the lineouts have been a problem for Lee Mears and the Lions jumpers.
Well, I was about to say the line-out problem is not only the problem of the hooker, it's the jumpers, the timing, the variations, the options, the calls. There's so much more to it.
Big scrum from the Lions, but Spies picks up at the back and manages to gain some momentum from a scrum that went backwards. Pienaar with the clearance. Very solid.
It's a great kick, super kick. Rob Kearney was all the way over on the other side, got across a little bit late. Pienaar saw the space executed brilliantly. Spiess has been very, very quiet this afternoon. Not the type of game he would enjoy, but he's done very, very well indeed here. Over the gain line, good, quick, clean ball. South Africa have cleared well.
First throw for Matthew Rees. It's a good one to Wallace at the tail. Jones held up by Pienaar. Now Phillips. Rees getting a first opportunity to drive the ball up. Phillips again after a good clean out. Heaslip. Phillips again working the short side, this time for Kearney. Phillips, no way through Bakkies Botha. O'Driscoll. Well watched by Jean de Villiers in the tackle. And another turnover for South Africa. Dupree.
Holding, and then you played it.
But no advantage. Bryan O'Driscoll penalised for hanging on.
Bismarck du Plessis it was who made the steal.
When the ball goes out, please.
Substitution for South Africa as Dani Rousseau replaces Heinrich Brousseau.
Well, I'm not 100% sure that would be the decision I would have made right now. Bob, what are your thoughts?
Joel, I think there's method in the madness here because Dani Rousseau is a fresh pair of legs and they know they're going to be carrying the ball up quite a lot. Brousseau did exceptionally well at the back of the scrum there, but you can give that role to one of the other flankers, and Dani Rousseau is going to be in the Lions' faces now, carrying a lot of ball and hopefully wearing this pack down.
Certainly makes a lot of sense. I really have enjoyed watching Heinrich Brousseau compete at the breakdown, though. He's been a real thorn in the side of the Lions.
Do you not think they're worn out already, Bob?
Well, it's not over till it's over, but certainly is going to make... John knows that you've got to keep the ball in hand like he's doing there, and you've got to move into the Lions' territory.
Well, he held on in the tackle there to John Smith.
Holding on,
But what a fabulous first start test match Heinrich Brousseau had, capping it with a try.
A little pop pass, O'Connell was very quick on in. Some might argue he wasn't in through the gate either.
Once again, the questions will be asked now of Paul O'Connell's ability to get his team up. They just about sum up the mood.
Yeah.
O'Connell down for Phillips. Jones loops around O'Driscoll, who is so dangerous. Almost always gets his arms through the tackle. Jenkins was the support runner. Jones for O'Connell. Tackle from Pienaar. Phillips for Tommy Bowe over on the right wing, who's had a precious little opportunity today after getting his 4 tries early in the tour. Jenkins wrapped up by Spiess, manages to free the ball in the contact. Jones. O'Driscoll on the switch to Jamie Roberts. Phillips for Rees.
Good continuity from the Lions now. 7th phase.
But not making much headway with it.
Leave it 2.
Now Monye chased by John Smith, who wasn't able to hang on. This is Kearney. Bakkies Botha looking for the clean out. Springbok defence is once again quickly reorganised and not allowing the Lions much headway at all. But now Tommy Bowe breaks through. No support though. Tackle from Peterson. Gethin Jenkins the first to arrive in support, but it was scrappy ball for him.
No advantage. That's 4.
Knock on from South Africa in the contact. Little scuffle with Bryan Habana just being sorted out as well.
Bryan Habana not happy with something. They're showing a swinging arm or punch of some sort. Great little break, perfect ball. Tommy Bowe went to the left-hand side, no support on that side, and unable to turn and head back to the right. And this is where Bryan Habana had a little bit of a moment of not being happy.
It's only I couldn't see where it made contact.
Yes.
Saw the arm go forward.
Okay, have you got a mark?
I've got just in where number 6 is, just in that spot there.
16. 16.
Matthew Rees might be in
16.
trouble here. He's been called after Stuart Dickinson.
Once again, no debate. Touch judge flagging. You punch someone on the ground, it's a penalty.
Discipline letting the British and Irish Lions down.
And John Smith quickly into Bryce Lawrence's ear saying, shouldn't there be yellow? Punch on the ground.
Well, he's probably got a point. Bob, what do you think?
Joel, I think we're witnessing a turnaround in perceptions here. South African rugby have traditionally been the big, boorish, undisciplined men. And you can see Matthew Rees there just letting his countryman down with a swinging arm, and that's what the referee pinged him for. South Africa and Bryan Habana managed to keep their cool enough and not let it turn into a fracas, which would have nullified the penalty.
Yeah, well said, Bob. And the penalties conceded 11 by the British and Irish Lions, only 5 by South Africa. Really is testament to that turnaround in attitude.
To the tail goes Duplessis for Matfield. Another perfectly executed line out by South Africa, and the kick into space from Pienaar. Phillips has a lot of ground to make going back. Bakkies Botha was up there making the chase, just narrowing the angle for Mike Phillips.
It's a super kick, though. Of course, when you're running that way, falling over and you hoof it, it gets a bit of a natural fade. And the fade has taken it out 10 metres or so inside South Africa's half.
More substitutes limber up. Andries Becker, all 2 meters 8 centimeters of him, along with Jacques Fourie. Duplessis for Matfield once more. That combination has been a well-oiled machine all afternoon.
Yep, both.
And both Matfield, Botha and Spies have got
Leave
up
his
on
leg,
Lions'
five.
ball as well.
Wing is on.
Habana is onside as he makes chase. Oh, big collision with Kearney. Well, the Lions fans aren't happy about it. Rob Kearney, I hope, is okay.
Scrum.
He's unmoved at this stage.
Bryce Lawrence, give him credit. He was very quick to blow the whistle. It's a super kick. Habana definitely onside, makes the chase. It's judged to be a mid-air collision here. Who jumps? Well, they both jump for the ball. Kearney's come down, not even that hard. He should be fine.
So there are the replacements. Andries Becker on for Bakkies Botha. Jacques Fourie on in place of Jean de Villiers.
Well, I'm a little surprised to see Jean de Villiers coming off. Eddie Jacobs was getting a bit of work on his calf just now with cramp. There will be a slight risk with. He's got to play the next 20 minutes. Good to see Jacques Fourie back in action, though.
Come up. Crouch. Crouch.
Well, those possession statistics you saw a few seconds ago don't tell the story on the scoreboard. And it was very similar in that England record victory for South Africa in November. Had hardly any ball, but turned it over well. Now the Lions come with a wave of attack. Tom Croft through the first tackle, just couldn't get the offload. Phillips likes to run a few steps with the ball. He's big and strong. He just keeps defenses guessing. A lot of chat from the Springboks as well on defence. Matfield marshalling it. Another scuffle involving Bismarck Duplessis. The cross kick from Jones for Tommy Bowe to chase. Habana well positioned and got the pass away to Francois Steyn. And Kearney has a lot of ground to make back. Habana and Fourie de Preez have made the call here. Goes back from Habana. And Jeremy Roberts managing to nab the ball. There was a knock ruled by Bryce Lawrence.
Well, we didn't really get to chat about the power and strength of Jeremy Roberts, about the little strength he showed earlier. But again, Habana in such good touch. Understanding the partnership with Frans Steyn so well, feeding inside that so well that even Bakkies managed to smile. You don't see that too often, Bob.
Well, he's a big man. He enjoys his humour. I think the physical side of the game, maybe there's a little bit of a dark side to Bakkies. The more physical it is, the more he smiles and laughs. He's enjoying himself. It's a playground for him.
Well, he certainly participated in the playground earlier. He may well have battered the Lions into submission up front.
Well, an all-Welsh front row now of Jenkins, Rees and Jones as Dani Rousseau carries the ball up strongly.
Stay there.
He's an uncompromisingly hard worker for South Africa, Dani Rousseau. He's played in many different roles and always delivers. Beautiful rolling kick. Drives Kearney back. And growing in stature and confidence is Ruan Pienaar.
And controlling the game so well. The Lions will have to go back. They're going to be under pressure in the line-out. They're going to have to try and cope with that pressure 5 metres from the goal line.
Well, surely they've got to go for the 2-ball. Rees and Jones.
Precarious position for the Irish Lions, British and Irish Lions.
Well, O'Connell it was who went to the front of the line-out this time, took the responsibility himself. Phillips puts it up to test JP Peterson. Steyn was calling in midfield, but Peterson spotted a chance for himself, but the gap quickly closed up on him. That midfield combination of O'Driscoll and Roberts turning the ball over for the Lions. Jones, good hands for Wallace. Kearney and Bow. Andries Becker making a good stretch, and Tommy Bow flinging the ball into his head. You can understand the frustration. Springboks have just been in their face in every aspect of the game.
Not giving anyone any place to go. Becker across there making the tackle. And a little bit of a chuck of the ball. Little frustration, I think, boiling over out on the wings. Not too much ball for Tommy Bow. Certainly very little opportunity. The Lions have kicked it out. Can they win it back at the line-out? The line-out certainly has been a lot better since Matthew Rees came on. Look at all that red in the stand. Wonderful to see all the fans out here supporting their team.
They've been very unvocal, though. Just getting into the chance of Lions now with this opportunity. O'Connell, pick and drive around the fringe. Becker stands up to him well.
Roll out.
Very slow ball for the Lions, though. They have to rebuild again. Rees. Now Wallace. This is better from the Lions as they clean out well. Phillips desperate for the ball. Alan Wynne-Jones. No way through Juan Smith. Phillips wanted to grab and go around the short side. Left the ball behind. Penalty advantage being played here. Phillips for Stephen Jones. Ball knocked out of his arms in the tackle by Beeston Tawarira. Precious time ticking away with this advantage as well, as there's no way through for Croft. Aggressive defensive effort from South Africa. O'Driscoll with the floated pass, and Habana.
It's a very good idea, understanding the South African defence on the outside. Habana, the intercept king, looking to rush up. O'Driscoll, hang on. He delayed the pass and then tried to flip it over the top. And Habana was up at the jump and stretch, knocking it on. Come back for the penalty.
And interestingly,
well, they need to.
They're taking the scrum, and yeah, they have no option. It's a great field position. It's a similar one from which they scored their try.
16 minutes left, Bob. Then they must go for the 5-pointer, surely.
Well, you would think so, Joel, and 48,718 fans, I've just been told, are in here. The fans don't know, the captains know, but I think a scrum here is showing their desperation.
Well, they certainly don't want to kick for touch. The line-out has misfired. Stephen Jones, Roberts, tries to bust a hole between Juan Smith and Ruan Pienaar. Pienaar has stayed down here as the Lions surge towards the line now. Can they lift their performance with a score? Oh, it's a huge hit on Paul O'Connell. Darnie Rousseau, the man who made it. Now O'Driscoll for Tommy Bowe. Couldn't hang on.
Grant Steyn was across there to make the tackle anyway. The idea was good. It's almost a kick pass rather than a corner kick. Grant Steyn was there to make the tackle.
So a double change for South Africa now as well in the front row. Guthro Steenkamp and Dion Carstens on in the front row. And John Smith and Tendai Tawarira, the two home boys from Durban, make their way off. And Ruan Pienaar is coming off for a blood bin injury as Morné Steyn gets the most special moment of his career to date. Big smile from Ruan Pienaar as Morné Steyn takes over at fly half. What a moment.
The Springbok bench that are celebrating not just the fact that Morné Steyn has gone on for his first test cap, but so far, 65 minutes in, it's a job well done by those coming off.
There's 15 minutes to play as Spies forced to pick up at the back of that scrum. Difficult ball for Morné Steyn, got it away for Habana. Such great understanding between the Bulls trio of Dupree, Steyn and Habana, but a counter-attacking opportunity here, and Monyo with a bit of space to work up speed. Great tackle from Jacques Fourie. Roberts took it on, but lost it forward in the contact.
Becker stolen it superbly.
But then it came back for the Lions once again. Jones with the cross kick while Habana was there. Croft took him in the air, but there was an offside call against the Springboks, back some 15 metres from the line.
Some Lions fans looking rather ragged. I'm not sure if it's the game or it's last night that's catching up with them at the moment. Jamie Roberts carrying it up strongly. He has certainly proved his strength at test level. Dangerous thorn in the side of South Africa. He's carried it up strongly, shown good leg drive.
Martin Williams in jersey 19, 88 test matches for Wales, gets his second Lions test cap, having played one test on the tour of New Zealand in 2005. Replaces David Wallace in the back row.
You let them land. You let them land. Watch the front, Vinny.
Reese.
From the side, 5 green, advantage.
Matfield in from the side, will concede a penalty here. Phillips wants to go quickly. 15 in for Jones. South African defence very quickly up. Lions keeping the ball alive. Monye is working hard.
Stay here, green.
Pressure on the Springboks line. O'Driscoll. Tackled by Becker.
Come back, green. Come back, come back, come back.
Now Williams with the pick and drive. First touch for him. O'Connell very close to the padding on the posts as well.
Come back, green, 22.
Now Phillips. Oh, Habana went for the interception. Alan Wynne-Jones managed to hang on.
So quick as Habana onside and managed to get man and ball at the same time.
So the Lions must build a drive again. Phillips, Jones for Roberts, steps inside Jacques Fourie.
Leave it, green. Yeah, got it, thanks.
Still very committed Springbok defence. O'Driscoll for Croft. There is his second try. Is it too little too late? As Tom Croft gets his second for the Lions with a kick to come. Still 14 points adrift.
Well, Bryan O'Driscoll showing his absolute class once again. Getting involved, burrowed for the line a little earlier. This time ball carrier turned ball provider. Drew in 3 defenders, timed the pass to perfection, and Croft is in.
Well, finally they've got something to cheer about. It's been a pretty bleak afternoon so far for the scores of Lions supporters, but now you can hear the cheers of Lions ringing around the Absa Stadium. 12 points the difference. Is there a twist with all the replacements that have been made by South Africa? Did they think they were home and dry?
Well, I'm not sure it's all the replacements. I have a theory, and I think since Heinrich Rousseau has gone off, South Africa have not competed well enough at the breakdown. Ricky January has come on to replace Fourie, and he will be his ever-present terrier self.
Jamie Heaslip takes it up for the Lions. Jones will run from deep. Roberts for O'Driscoll. Outside his 22. Steyn waits under the high ball. Kearney gives chase and makes an excellent tackle. Steyn has turned this ball over. His body position not good enough in the contact, and there's a real let-off here for South Africa.
13 red.
A little handling error on the ground from the Lions.
Good chase from the Lions and good tackle. This is where the little handling error came. The pick and go against the leg.
Come on. Release, take that.
What an occasion it has been. A packed stadium.
Crouch.
Plenty of vocal fans.
Touch. Pause.
Just over 10 minutes to play. A score sometime soon from the Lions would make it a really fascinating last period of play. Morné Steyn. Very calm under that loopy pass. Monye. Dion Carstens, you thought had called for it, but he hadn't. A little bit of miscommunication there from the Springboks. Urgency from the Lions. The chip through from O'Driscoll. Steyn. Well, O'Driscoll went in high. It was a little bit reactionary.
Yep, taken back.
Now, Morné Steyn's kick was carried back into his 22. Kearney launches the counter-attack. Donnie Rousseau with the tackle. Well, an apparent confidence boost in the Lions play now. O'Driscoll with a lovely inside flick for O'Connell. Suddenly they're playing with a greater fluency and confidence. Williams. The Springboks defence is going to be tested to the limit in these closing minutes. Quickly taken penalty by Phillips. Jones. Croft. And a big hit in the tackle from Desmart du Plessis. O'Connell. Phillips continues to work the short side, this time for Martin Williams, his Welsh teammate. Jones. O'Driscoll. Oh, long pass for Roberts. It's on here. Monye! Monye! Oh, he's dropped it.
It's twice Monye's been over the line. Not managed to get it down. How costly is that going to be?
Morné Steyn made the tackle on debut. Try saver.
Time off.
Well, it was again a brilliant build-up from the Lions. Out it came on the wing. Monye went inside. Morné Steyn, hand on ball, out of hands. Try-saving tackle. How important will that be? 9 minutes to go, and Bob, there's been a complete change in momentum.
There certainly has, Joel, and it's all the little nuances of the game that make us love rugby so much. You know, they've brought in a couple of different players. The Lions know that they can never, ever go to the high felt on a downer and let the Springboks run away with a match here. So they've really put in the effort to come back here, and it's certainly paying off for them, and it's making a hell of a game of it.
All of a sudden, a whole lot more noise in the stadium as well, as the travelling fans get in behind their team.
Crouch, touch, pause, engage. Start, leave him half.
Big scrum from the Lions.
Advantage.
Spies was forced to pick up at the back, and there's a handling error forced. Stephen Jones is in there, goading his forwards. They sense an opportunity here, perhaps.
Phillips is in there too, putting the pressure. Oh, well, it's an accidental offside as well. Pressure coming on South Africa, and all of a sudden, not coping all that well.
Stephen Jones will be giving due thought to two relatively easy penalties that he missed early in this game, which would have changed the landscape substantially.
26-20 would be anyone's game. As it is, one try here, and it's anyone's game to grab right at the death.
No bind, no bind.
I've got a feeling his substitution earlier was a blood change.
Yeah, it certainly was. Had some blood coming, I think, from his right eye.
Touch, pause, engage.
He's looking to come back on to replace Eddie Jacobs, who had a bit of cramp earlier.
Now Jones. O'Driscoll. Jones loops around. And now Monye again.
Habana makes a great tackle. And he's got the ball.
Advantage here for the Lions.
No advantage.
O'Driscoll wants to take this quickly.
Wait for the mark. Collapsing.
Suddenly it's the Springboks conceding scrum penalties.
Scrum.
And the penalty count is almost level. Yeah.
Not binding, falling into the middle.
He'll be delighted with the way his team have come back in the last 10 or 15 minutes, but is it too little, too late? Maybe not.
Pienaar comes back on, and Eddie Jacobs is the man to leave the field. Francois Steyn will go into centre.
Number 10 and leaving the field now is centre Eddie Jacobs.
Morne Steyn to full back.
Crouch, touch, pause, engage.
It's a good hit from the Lions at that engagement.
Jones is under big pressure.
He slipped. And Roberts!
Brilliant
Vital tackle.
again.
I think it was Pierce Spies. Now O'Callaghan.
Come back.
Space left.
Come back.
Phillips! Through he goes! Next to the posts. Oh my word! We're in for drama in Durban.
And now it is the Lions fans who are up dancing and singing. It's those wearing green who are sitting down quietly and very concerned. Again, it's a brilliant build-up from the Lions.
Stephen Jones, a quick kicker at the best of times. Now takes it quickly and adds the two. The Lions are in striking distance. The gap opened up for Phillips, quick to spot it, as he has done previously on this tour. And that's what it means. They're back in it. Bob Skinstad, could you have scripted this better?
Well, Matt, we said it was going to be a belter, and in terms of entertainment, the first 60 minutes was one-way traffic. But hasn't it turned around now? And this is the kind of game we were expecting for 80 minutes. I think it's fantastic.
And anyone's game to win still, Bob.
Definitely, Joel.
Inside.
Changing momentum here. That is the big concern for South Africa. The Lions are all over them at the moment.
4 minutes to play. The Lions need a try.
No. It's full. Thank you.
Oh dear. Ricky January has made a vital error.
Oh, 35 appearances. You won't knock on too many easier than that. In the basket, eyes up, off the ball. Ball down, knock on. Extreme frustration in the stands, unless you're wearing red.
Now, interestingly enough, Dion Carstens has gone down and is being attended to. And John Smith is warming up on the bench again. What a time for the Springboks to need their captain. When he left the field, you felt that the game was all but won.
Well, it seemed like it was all over. Father singing. Johnson coming back on. I wonder if that isn't a tactical move to say, Cappy, get back on there, get things under control, and sort this out. See this last 3.5 minutes out.
All of a sudden as well, you've got a totally reorganised backline. You've got Pinar at fly half, Steyn in the inside centre berth, Mornay staying at fullback.
Touch, pause, engage, go.
Big scrum. Now Roberts bursts the hole through. Fourie with a vital interception. January. Steyn.
Stay green! No, green! Green!
Steyn has kicked it deep, but he hasn't played his teammates onside. The chip and chase from O'Driscoll. Preez with a foot in there.
All offside.
Oh.
All offside.
Francois Steyn made the kick. All of the South African players advanced. Ross Lawrence was shouting, stand still, don't advance, don't advance. Advance they did, penalty against them. Bryan O'Driscoll is down on the far side trying to collect his little chip. And now comes the next big decision. Do you kick for goal, Bob, or do you go for the try right now?
Well, we'll know what Paul O'Connell's thinking as soon as he gets out of that forward huddle, but he's geeing the guys up around him, and he certainly make a difference. I know Stephen Jones has made himself very prominent in the thinking there. He wants the ball. I think he wants to knock it over.
So the little chip over from Bryan O'Driscoll, went to collect it. Oh, I'm not sure what's happened there. It didn't look like there was too much around his head.
It looked like a trailing arm from Preez as he tried to get the ball kicked forward. There you go. Watch that. Oh no, he's hit him against the back of Preez. A glancing blow, but a glancing blow off the body of Preez.
Yeah.
It was like a sledgehammer.
It is. He's up though. He's sitting there. And normally in those circumstances, it's the neck you worry about, maybe a little bit of concussion, but the bod is back. He's up. And the Red are on their feet in support.
Look at the focus back in the eyes, the fire in the eyes of the Lions. What a contest.
Well, O'Connell has decided not enough time to kick the penalty and come back and score, or kick another penalty or a drop. Got to go for the try, and so they will.
Just over 2 minutes to play. Have South Africa's defensive efforts got more left in the tank here? All the momentum, all the rhythm with the Lions in a game that has twisted and turned.
And the line-out twists and turns again. It's been rock solid since Matthew Rees came on. A little bit dodgy there, but South Africa have knocked it on in their efforts to win it. 90 seconds left. Matfield went up high. That's where the little knock came from, South Africa.
Phillips for Jones. Tommy Bowe brought in from the right wing. Took a glancing blow off Fourie. Jones for O'Connell. Springboks baying for a forward pass. Smith makes the tackle on Matthew Rees. Gethin Jenkins put in a huge 79 minutes. Under pressure early on. Jones. O'Driscoll with the step. Fourie navigating the defence. Is that the final nail in the Lions' coffin? Maybe not. You don't want to predict anything in this game.
Jamie Roberts makes his way back. Holding on the ground was the call against him. O'Driscoll stepped inside and made the pop pass. But South Africa finally competed well at the breakdown and won the penalty.
The Springboks led by 19-7 at half-time and got the first score of the second half to lead by 26-7. What a comeback this has been. Roberts taken down by Dani Rousseau, and the penalty for hanging on brings relief to that man and thousands of others.
And surely now South Africa will be too good. They'll see this out. Victor Matfield will more than likely call it to himself. He's got Becker in front as well.
They've got to win the line out first. And struggling to hear the calls in amongst the cacophony that is the Absa Stadium. Little wink from Andries Becker. When you've got a 2-meter, 8-centimeter start, those are slightly easier to win. Ricky January boots it high into the stands, and the Springboks have prevailed in a quite extraordinary contest, outscored by the Lions by 3 tries to 2, but the boot of Ruan Pienaar kept them in front, and some desperate defence allowed them to hang on at the death. It was an extraordinary comeback from the British and Irish Lions. Morné Steyn delighted on debut. Disappointment for Mike Phillips, who was influential throughout and one of the try scorers.
And one also often looks back and considers how the substitutions made the change in the game, and certainly in that change in momentum, once the British and Irish Lions stabilised their scrum, they were certainly a much better team. Adam Jones came on, scrummed well. Matthew Rees contributed enormously in the lineouts, and up until then it had been the Beast and the Bok lineout that had dominated proceedings and given South Africa many opportunities to get that lead on the scoreboard.
Well, the Lions will go into their dressing room knowing that they almost pulled off one of the great upsets. They had a chance to close it out at the end with dramatic style. 3 tries to 2 in favour of the Lions, but the 3 penalties from Ruan Pienaar and the penalty from Francois Steyn kept the Springboks in front. An extraordinary contest. The series is magnificently poised. Full time in Durban. It's South Africa 26, the Lions 21.